Thanks everybody for joining and welcome to anybody who's watching this video. My name is Kit. I'm a P5JS project lead at the Processing Foundation, and this year I've also been the Google Summer of Code org admin. And so these are the fantastic GSoC contributors that we have joining this year, and they've prepared some materials to help the next cohorts of contributors. So I'll let them take it away. Go ahead.
So, hello everyone. Myself is Divyansh, and I come from India. I'm a software developer, and I've been coding for last 4 or 5 years. And I also appear to be creative coder. I got introduced to Processing Foundation through the coding train, if you know, and I've been a part of the community for last 3 years, be it seeing issues on the GitHub or making sketches on p5.js. These are the things I do. And this summer, I'll be going to spend my time on this project, a friendly p5.js translation task, which is basically building in GitHub automations for all the up the translation and stuffs. All details I'll maybe you can just see on the Google Summer of Code website. And so this is my personal reflections of what I did for this project. So when GSoC announced and yeah, Processing Foundation was there as one of the participating organization, I saw this project and this was very personal to me because I have been involved in translation things for like last 2 years. And last year for the P5.js 2.0, I also appeared to be the steward for the Hindi language. So this was a personal project and I just researched about what the project demands, how it can be done. So I just thought of without any second thought, I will have to apply to this, right? So these some of the things here are very personal to me and may apply to only myself, but yeah, you can keep that takeaways. So yeah, I'll begin. So first thing first, what helped me most in preparing my application? So as I told, I was already a translation steward for the Hindi language. So that basically helped me to get an idea of project. And when many projects were announced, they were like I think 6 to 7 ideas. And when I saw this particular project as one of the potential idea for the GSoC 25 project, just instantly click because I know when I see the website, when I visit the reference page and or example page, I see the website and okay, some pages in Hindi, some is not what I want, what people around me generally see. So I know where we are standing in that particular domain, right? So this was one thing. Second is before framing my the actual proposal, I went through some of the translation tasks because due to the release of the P5.js 2.0, the documentation and translation and stuff were paused for a few times. So I just look at the open issues, open PR, and what are the things that are still left, what can be done, things like that, and then because this project is very big, so I figured out what can be achieved during the next 175 hours, which is the actual GSoC timeline, and what is more likely helpful to the community, not writing everything and not actually doing something. So yeah, this is what helped me personally in preparing my application. Now, so what I learned during the application process, you might see this 3 points on the slide, but it's actually a lot more than that. Uh, the GSoC application process is actually very tiring, and you have to be calm and you have to put everything in detail. Like one more thing I would like to add, like AI and other tools may help you, but they will never outshine your own creativity, right? Because personally, being involved in the community, I know how to, put things in detail, what the community demands, what will be more useful to the community rather than, just putting out some technical jargons on the proposal. So I basically learned a lot of things. First, it's actually the main thing. Okay, I wondered how p5.js is being used by a lot of people around the world in different languages. So there are stewards for like every domain, like reference, example, core library, translation. So yeah, how important is to a set of volunteers to actually manage such a large project, that too open source. You get a lot of spam PRs too. You have to look at the issues regularly. So how important is this whole thing? I just figured this out. Then when you're working on such a project which is available in different languages, which is available to people of different kinds, the main vision of the Firedots is only to increase accessibility. So this thing just taught me, okay, how to think more empathetically, more toward people. Okay, what I can do. I'll just give an example. While I was just making this proposal, so I thought, okay, I'll do everything in code, but what about people who will just visit the website? They don't know what is going in the GitHub repo or something. So I figured out a way, okay, if the translation somewhere is not updated, maybe we can show some UI specific banner or something. Okay, this page is outdated, and you can, this page is only available in English language or something like that. So people can actually see, okay, this is under progress, this will be done. So how you can increase that field, how you can make the site more uh, what we can say user friendly. That is what this whole process taught me. Okay, and of course, before writing this proposal, I reached out to my previous contributors to this project, like Adit Rana was there, Sanjay, who was also happy, done the international relation in Hindi part as one of his GSoC project in the year 2020, I guess, and then Tanvi, who was the steward alongside me in P5.js 2.2, the translation task last year. So I reached out to them. I talked to them. Okay, how can I shape my proposal better? What are the pain points that they see? And yeah, I generally gained a lot of confidence during this whole process. Okay, so this is like if I had to reapply to some organization, I had to start from the beginning to code or open source or contribute to P5. This is what I would have done too, and this is my piece of advice to all of the future applicants. First thing first, don't just dive into the, okay, I see a GitHub repo, I want to contribute this, I will just fork it, I will set it locally, and I will just go on solving the biggest issue, or I will just will be overwhelmed by by the code base, right? So you have to begin at some point. It 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 may be a documentation, it may be a translation, it may be a small bug or anything. Might be some link is broken, some anything. You just have to get an idea of how the whole system works, how the machine works, how the process, creating your own clone, creating a pull request, opening an issue, getting feedback from mentors. These all things you just have to begin from somewhere. Okay, and one more thing which I generally feel is more important, you don't have to more it is more important than knowing the code, that you know what this project does, how much value it adds to the community, to the larger audience, and then you will get more idea, okay, what exactly issue is. You don't have to create issue just for the sake of creating an issue. You'll get familiar with the platform, okay, what you personally feel is lacking. Okay, this can not only okay, the issues which are already listed on GitHub, you don't have to generally solve that only. Just get used to the platform, be familiar with what people are doing with this, and maybe you will face an issue, right? So it is important to learn what the goal of your particular project or this particular the broader, the main project does, right? And yeah, obviously your mentors, your fellow previous contributors, if you are new to this whole thing and you think, okay, I some people are contributing since the last 6 months, 8 months. How can I outshine them? I don't have any chance in GSoC or something. So it is more important that you reach out to mentors. Okay, I am beginning from here. I have done this issue. What should I do next? Okay, this is my initial idea to the project. I remember processing also opened the Google form, so you can get feedback on an initial project. and what can you improve better, and how can you, even after the GSoC selection was announced, I remember Kit posted message on the Discord our channel, so you can get the feedback. So it is always better to communicate to the mentors, get your ideas straight, and see where you're lacking, rather than just get overwhelmed by the number of people applying, right? And the second other thing is, in while making a proposal, it is important that you should be specific to a niche, right? You don't be, okay, I will do this, I will also do this, I will also do this, but you should also know what the main goal of project is. You can add some extra things, but your main proposal should always revolve around what the demand of project and why is this. Okay, you have to understand this what and why to make a proposal your 10x better, right? And generally, what I see is people just write a number of technical jargon, or write a number of steps that they will also implement this thing. They will also improve the UI. They will also work in the translation. But uh, as a mentor, as a org admin, they know how much part can be actually done in that particular summer, and how much is over promising, right? So you should be specific and honest with yourself, not just increase the number of pages on your proposal. That is not important. What is important is you understand the pain point, you understand what is the demand, and you make a proposal that sounds genuine and achievable, right? To summarize all of this, one general perception about or misunderstanding about GSoC among students and the community the applicants is that, okay, it is just coding. You have to spend your whole summer coding. While this is on a bottom line true, but GSoC is just more than that, according to me, because for most of the people, it is their first time in open source. It is their first time working in a team environment. Working with people from different even different time zones, and it basically develops you for the future. How can you represent yourself in open source community? What can you do better to present yourself in public? How much impact can your project have in terms of accessibility, in terms of community engagement, things like this. So when you will look at a broader picture, you will get a better idea of how your proposal should be shaped, right? So yeah, this is all from my side.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for sharing your reflections and the advice. I think the way you framed it is keeping it personal and really mindful of the scope and the values of the project. There's like really wonderful advice there. Okay, handing it over to Cam.
Hi everyone, I'm Kamakshi. I'm a third year computer science student from India. My pronouns are she, they. So I'll be working on making the web editor's autocomplete hinter context aware and also introduce a few other refactoring enhancements to the editor. Uh, Right. Now, one of the most important things that I learned from a technical aspect was how to work with a large code base. And at first, it was definitely a bit overwhelming, but over time, contributing to open source, I just got better at navigating the structure, understanding how different parts fit together, and where to look to make changes. I also learned how to look for open issues on GitHub and submit PRs, pull requests. What really stood out to me in this process was how open and friendly the open source community is, especially of processing foundations, to even the most smallest of contributions. Like my first ever PR was literally just fixing a typo in the documentation. And I know it seems very minor, but seeing that pull request get merged gave me a huge boost of confidence. And eventually, I was able to submit more effective ones. Another thing I learned is how valuable exploration can be. Just digging around in the code helped me notice a few bugs, and that curiosity eventually turned into contributions. So, don't think that exploring the repository and other things is a waste of time. In my opinion, it's actually really important. And remember that you do not need to wait for any good first issues or easy issues to come around, because you can just explore the website, find bugs and fix them yourselves. And that is kind of like what I did. Now, when it comes to preparing for GSoC, a few things really helped me the most. The most, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the most important one was communication. So initially, I had a bunch of ideas, and I had to communicate them. And I communicated them to Rachel, who's the lead for the P5JS editor, through LinkedIn and Google Meet. And I am so glad that I did that, because my initial idea was completely different than my proposal, and it was so not on the right track. And if I had gone with that initial idea without getting any feedback, I probably wouldn't be here. And I also spent a lot of time going through the GitHub repo, and it was because of that I came up with this proposal idea. And likewise, to ensure that my idea was headed on the right track, I also went through the Discord channel and stuff posted on the discussion forums related to the problem statements, and that really helped me. And then at the end of 1.5 months, I focused more on writing a good proposal rather than just submitting more PRs. And I think that really paid off, because in that process, I was able to put in extra effort into the technical implementation part of the proposal, which is kind of like really important, because that section like shows you that you've done your homework and that you're ready to build. And it's also something that Processing Foundation explicitly emphasizes on, if you read all the advice that's given on the GitHub repo. And coming to the yeah, so if I had to give advice to someone applying for GSoC in the future, the first thing I would say is start early, even if it's just reading the code base or exploring the GitHub repo, because it makes a huge difference over time. Like, take your time to understand how the code base is structured, go through all the GitHub issues, and follow community discussions. And as I mentioned earlier, even submitting the smallest of PRs can help you build confidence over time. Another extremely important thing, and I've mentioned this again, get feedback on your ideas. Like, you have to communicate them with the assigned mentors and leads, because if you don't do that, maybe your idea was good, but maybe you're not on the right track. So just make sure to communicate your ideas and get feedback on them. Also, try to submit a draft proposal well before the deadline, so that mentors have time to give you thoughtful feedback. But again, don't get disheartened if you're watching this video too late, because I also could not submit the draft proposal, and I'm so glad I still gave it a shot and did not just give up. And finally, focus on, in my opinion, I would say focus on doing one proposal really well instead of spreading yourself too thin with multiple ones, because quality over quantity. So yeah, that would be it from my side. Again, to all the future applicants, just remember that GSoC is not about getting selected, it's also about contributing to the open source community and gaining knowledge in the process. So yeah, thank you.
Can I ask a quick question for you, Cam?
Yes, absolutely.
You mentioned that you got a lot of feedback from between your original idea and the proposal. Was that part of what resulted in a lot of the accessibility kind of aspects of your proposal, or what was the change that came up through that process?
So my initial idea was related to AI/ML, because I really like that field. And at that time, when I communicated the all my ideas to Rachel, she was so kind to listen to all of them, and I actually had a lot of them. And at that time, I did not have anything thought about digital accessibility, which is what Processing Foundation really emphasizes on and wants. And it was Rachel who told me that my ideas should also kind of focus towards digital accessibility. And that's when and like, she really guided me to like get the right idea, I would say, because I because after that meeting, I went through the GitHub repo more properly, I would say. And that's when I got the idea of autocomplete, because somewhere in the documentation it says that the autocomplete hinter isn't as context aware. And that's where I got this idea from. And from what Rachel had told me about focusing on digital accessibility, I also made sure that I incorporated that aspect into my into the technical implementation part of my proposal. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks. Because it was that was something that was really stood out about that proposal, is that it really combined both of these ideas, both the autocomplete improvements and like web accessibility support. Um,
I'm so glad I did. Glad it did. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so last one. Are you ready?
Okay, so what did I learn during the application process? So this is my first time applying for GSoC. I think I found out about it last year or thereabouts, and I read so much about it. I just wanted to do it. So when I was for the organization to work with, I was very open. I was in with very open mind, right? So long the project has to do with the tools that I'm very familiar with, JavaScript, React, and front end tools. That was what I was going for. So I was very open minded. So for the white project, me, it was a very um, very new territory for me. I didn't really understand. I didn't know much about creative coding. So right. So when I saw it, I was very curious. I was just an open book. That's why I would say it's just found this stage because I going into this, I saw that it was the same for other persons, right? So they're going into it with very open mind, like you don't even know anything. So you're picking up from there. So what I did, I started poking around, started reading about it, so everything I need, because what I needed to ask questions, but I didn't know what to ask, right? So I need to get familiar. This is the time I was really playing around with the project I was working, the topic, friendly embedding. So I got to read about it, everything I needed to know about it, start poking around. In my case, what is embedding? What does it do? Which other platform is actually using this tool? And how can I be from there, right? So after that, I had, say, enough information to start reaching out to community, right? So that's what I did. So I wanted to reach out to community. I did for LinkedIn. I reached out to a community on LinkedIn, P5 community. I reached out to them. I explained, I introduced myself, explained, this is my project, this is what I'm working on. I know you guys are familiar with this particular tool. I am not familiar with it. What are your pain points? What have you been using? You've been using it. This is the project I want to work on. What do you think I should do? And I think that was one of the best decisions for me, right? Because I got a very, very good response from Dave. His name is Dave. I met him on LinkedIn. Very good. He was like, he had my time, right? No, he told me he'll get back to me because I had sent email to some, because I did research as well. I sent out email. I'm like, one or two persons will respond to me, and that is fine, right? Just catfishing, doing everything to get a response. And Dave responded to me, and he's like, hybrid solution, right? So I'm looking at iframe and also script based. You should read about that. I'll throw that in, that's a very good focus for me to do. And he also advised that I should start working on a prototype. It will help me to give me deeper insights, right? After that, I had enough of information. So then I searched P5 on, I Googled it, the Discord channel. I came on Discord as well. And okay, sorry, it wasn't Dave I met on LinkedIn, it was Ma. Dave was on Discord, right? So I came on Discord as well, and I was interacting with Dave, and this is what I have. And it was a very good interaction for me because that was where I started building what to build. I didn't have anything, but with this information, this interaction, I started giving my idea. I asked Dave, what's this is what I'm building. What do you think? What do you advise? And it was just the best thing. And Dave gave me a whole lot of advice. He shared with me P5 widget, which is a similar project to what I'm working on. And it's like, you check it out. If you want to build on it, it's fine. If you want to build from scratch, it's fine as well. So by this time, I had like a lot of information to work with. So what was the most thing I did preparing for my application? So for this, I think for me, one of those things is actually building a prototype early. It actually helped me. Like I said, I had no idea what I'm doing, right? So I'm making mistake. As I'm building, I'm also working on my proposal. So whatever I'm doing there, I'm adding to my proposal, right? So my proposal was very much detailed. I had examples, right? I think that was one of the things that made it outstanding, because I was working with two. As I was reading, I was putting it down. I was giving an example. I was working. It really helped me a lot. Also, community engagement helps out a whole lot. It really helped me as well. AI as well. I'll say this thing, right? AI, AI really helped as well. Like for me, AI is that tool where I go to actually pour out my thoughts. It's not like my first approach, but I have a lot of things in my head. I pour out there, I research. So I tell people AI should not be your first go-to. So you're researching, but you've done your homework. Then you go to AI and it's working. And for me, it wasn't surface level kind of research with AI, with ChatGPT. It was deep because I was already building a prototype. I was using AI to like get deep and depth knowledge about what I was working in and all that. Also, I don't know, but I think this actually helped me. I was pushing to GitHub. It was messy. It was messy. When I was building the prototype, I was pushing it to GitHub. I just know, I know probably that was one thing that made me stand out. But if you go on my GitHub, you see all a lot of my commits from the prototype that I worked on as well. So what advice do I have for future applicants? I think I would just tell them you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to just come on with an open mind. First of all, you need to, I think for me, it's just I was ready to learn. I was ready to learn. That's why I was meeting every and anybody, listening to them. Then I would go back to do my homework. It actually helped me a lot. I was open mind, ready to learn. So don't stop at projects, just dig deep, build something. It's very important. It helps you, it gives you a deeper insight. I cannot overemphasize. Building something helped me a lot. So yeah. Okay, like I said, just a summary: ask focus, relevant question, reach out to community, use GitHub, like I said, treat this like a collaboration, not a competition. I think for me, it was a collaboration. I wanted to collaborate, I wanted to learn, and I wanted to expand my knowledge. So for me, it was more than open, it was open source, but it was more than that. It was an avenue for me to learn. And I started learning library, React. I started building with React. So I'm building this tool with React. I wanted to really learn. And that's I really launched myself into it. And I think these are the things that I think that I did that made my project or made me my proposal rather stand out. Thank you. That's
Great. Thank you so much. And in terms of what made that particular proposal stand out, definitely the depth and variety of research that you had was really noticeable, like how much community engagement mixed with how much of your work was available online, both related to the application and in general. That was something that was really helpful. Um, okay, well,
thank you.
do any of you have any kind of questions or thoughts to each other? Or any like last kind of thoughts from having this whole session together?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so right. And I think okay, so this bonding period, I think I don't know the contributors. I don't know. I think probably we just have say one or two. I don't know. It will not be often, say once in 2 weeks or once in 3 weeks. Just meet, I don't know, as contributors, right? Just to get acquainted with ourselves. I don't know. Just say.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we're in the community bonding period, and I think so the way that we've kind of structured that so far is to do introductions. And we have this like Discord channel where you have access to like the mentors, but also others in the community who are very happy to help. And I think this is something that you as a group can also shape. So if you want to have regular meetings, that's super encouraged. And if you want to invite any of the mentors or me or anybody else in that channel, I'm sure that they would be happy to jump in. So this is like, I think a lot of the repeated themes in all three of your presentations were like uh, you know, ask for what you need. And you've all done that. You've all kind of taken extra steps to really self-reflect and to like ask for the resources, and that allows the community to like come around and to support you in your work. So I hope that keeps going. Were you gonna say something else too?
I was just going to say that, okay, I feel like many of the people, like also Cam also mentioned this thing, like many of the people treat GSOC, okay, uh, as, okay, I have to get into GSOC. Like it's not like, okay, I'll have to contribute to GSOC. It's more of a like I'll have to get in, I have to crack GSOC. So I'll just have to add this thing that it's not about, stopping at a particular summer or starting up for a particular program. Like the more you will get involve the community, the more the community will value you, right? I remember last year Q reached out to me. I was not part of any of the processing programs before that, but Q reached out to me because I was actively active on Hindi steward and on the issues of Hindi related translation issues, things like that. So basically, what I mean is, don't treat GSOC or any other open source fellowship program to just crack it for the sake of achievement, right? It's more of a how you get into the community, how you value yourself, how you present yourself there, and what do you do after once the program is over. Okay, whether you get selected or not, are you still that curious for the program, for the for the foundation, for the organization? Are you still that curious? Are you still using that platform? You're still interested, or it was just for the sake of the program? That will define, I think that will define 50% to 70% of the selection rate at that time only, right? So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for these. Thank you so much for all these reflections. And I think this will be a really useful resource for the future. And I think in the spirit of kind of collaborative documentation, we can kind of keep adding to it, like with the slides or any other thoughts you have. But yeah, thanks so much for taking the time and for creating this video.